Hey guys, I'm back with another showcase. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Flame Hero Endeavor. He's one of the earlier premium characters, but he still holds his own, and he's one of the highest damage dealers in the game if built well. That said, that does rely on cards, so I'm going to start with his cards first today. So this card, his Blazing Pursuit, Endeavor additionally inflicts true damage equal to lost HP ratio times 80%. That's massive. The way I got this was drew two of his Endeavor cards, and fused them because it's that much better. Normally I say don't worry too much about cards. This is a card that honestly makes or breaks this character. So if you want to build your Endeavor, you need Blazing Pursuit. Other than that, generally what I have on him is, rather than Flecked, I will generally have Cold Shot. I don't necessarily want a shield on Endeavor. Flecked is just there because it was on somebody else and I switched it over. But yeah, I like to increase his crit rate. Mustard is decent. Ectoplasm is great because I want normal attack increased. Nah, I didn't put all of Endeavor's cards back on him before I switched over to this, but Game Start is solid. Penetration is just always a good card. But what I normally like to have on him is Moonfish. Now that's just me, and that is because of how I use him. I generally use Endeavor mostly as a Warzone character. So I like to have him here, and he often outlasts his teammates because of his healing. So I like to give him a buff when his teammates die. Now, other than that, crit and penetration are they're gonna work wonders here. And as I go into chips, I will say that here as well. Technical is solid, but penetration and crit damage, anything like that are where you're gonna want to focus. With Endeavor, that Blazing Pursuit card I showed you actually increases his true damage, which is important, because to my understanding that's what goes through shields. To take a look at his skills, I know I started a little out of order this time, but I wanted to talk about that card because it is essential. So his skills, this knockback increases temperature. So Flashfire Fist increases temperature, knocks an enemy airborne. Consuming Flame pulls enemies in, deals damage, but it also increases his temperature. Now when Endeavor's temperature is high enough, he can throw his lance and pick it up. When he picks up his lance, he switches everything, so W becomes Piercing Lance, and E becomes Flashfire Pillar. So his main thing is increasing that temperature. The problem is when his temperature exceeds 80%, he loses health, but that stops at 25% of max HP. And really losing health for Endeavor isn't that bad of a thing because it increases your damage. So your goal playing as him is actually an interesting one, and it is to fight with as low health as possible. That's where this Flame Resurge comes in. It gives Endeavor a shield equal to 50% of his missing HP. Unless it's below 50%, then it increases to 70%. So that's the best way for Endeavor to keep himself from dying, because the shield doesn't count as health. Just to go over his skills real quick, this is a heal for cooling down. He does that when he throws his lance. Here's another way to buff Endeavor based on missing HP. And this is, the hotter he is, the more damage he deals. He starts to get really strong, as you can see, when in Lance status. Attack is increased by 30%, so Triple S buffs his damage like crazy. Here, injury increases attack until the battle's over. That's great. This one actually heals, which honestly to me seems counterintuitive, but I don't have them that high. Maybe it kind of balances out with all the other things and all the draining. I'm not sure. Honestly, Endeavor is a good unit at S with Blazing Pursuit, great at double S, and at triple S he becomes an absolute monster. But he is somebody worth pulling just at S.
As far as talent trees are concerned, honestly, it's funny because for me, Endeavors aren't too important. You know, this first one's pretty solid. He can increase damage taken. But as far as which paths to go, if you have him at S, I would start bottom right. Scorched Earth is important just because throwing that lance leaves AoE damage. This plays a big role in Warzone and Super Co-op. But for me, if I'm actually using him, you know, to the fullest in Agency, I don't ever really throw the lance once I pick it up. It's all just about, you know, holding on to it and dealing damage. Sometimes if I'm close to death, I'll throw it for the heals, which I get from this path, this left path, and from some other things. So this is a good one for invincibility. Usually people online will say this one. Crit rate increases by 12% for 15 seconds after picking up the lance. And there's also a defense buff in there. Yeah, I would say this top right path is better, mostly because of this imploding strike here. So that's the direction I would go, is bottom and top right. But I don't think that Endeavor's talents are actually going to make or break him. So you could also kind of do some half paths, grab, you know, the damage ups, but generally I think you're fine going right. Alright, let's show you his skills. So here, the W skill pulls enemies in. And I'll go ahead and show you Flash Fire Fist too. It's just an uppercut that deals some damage. Let's turn off my assists for now. See, Q isn't even available to be activated until he's hot enough. But honestly, these skills here aren't the best way to deal damage. What I want to do is throw that lance, pick it up, and now my combo is better, that stab is better, and so is this flame pillar. So this is where his damage really shines. Drains his HP, as I mentioned, but that's what the shield is for. I would use the shield not until he's very low on health. You can throw the lance to heal, and it leaves Scorched Earth behind, but then your combos drop back down to, as you can see, I'm, about 17, it looks like. Crit. 57 on the first hit. So, yeah, the lance, okay, 30. The lance is significantly stronger. That's almost double still.
Now his damage dealing capability makes Endeavor a good unit for agency assessment, but he also really shines in Super Co-op and Warzone. He is actually considered a meta unit. He's on my team for Super Co-op and on one of them for Warzone. He's great at pulling enemies in for crowd control. He can also heal himself. Um, so he has survivability. So overall, Endeavor really shines in all of those modes.
I'm Endeavor.
So let's see how he plays in some arena. Again, his main damage comes from hurting himself and fighting with the lance. So that's my advice in agency assessment. I haven't played much with him in arena, so we'll see how it works here. Getting hyper armor while sucking them in is useful.
Get back here! I'm not done yet! Hot enough for ya? Get back here! I'm not done yet! Hot enough for ya? Get back here! I'm not done yet! Get back here! I'm not done yet! Hot enough for ya? Get back here! I'm not done yet! Keep turning the heat up. More! Get back here! I'm not done enough for ya! Have a taste of hellfire! Get back here! I'm not done fire! Get back here! I'm not done yet! Get back here! I'm not done fire!
The biggest draw to me in arena is that hyper armor. Just really helps keep him out of combos.
Get back here! I'm not done yet! Turning the heat of hellfire!
So in arena,
Even hotter!
sometimes I think throwing the lance is actually useful, just because it lets me use that W skill again. For the most part in agency assessment, I just try to hold on to the lance for as long as I can.
Get back here! I'm not done yet! Hot enough for ya? Have a taste of
But here,
hellfire!
I believe it also heals me. I know the shield
Turning the
does.
heat up. More! Even hotter! Get back here! I'm not done yet! Fire! Oh. Get back here! I'm not done yet! Have a taste of hellfire! Get back here! I'm not done yet! Until nothing but ash remains! Hot enough for ya? Get back here! I'm not done yet! Fire! Get back here! I'm
So that's Endeavor. He definitely plays a little differently in arena compared to agency assessment. But honestly, in either mode, or any mode really, he's a pretty decent unit. You know, I can make a tier list of characters worth pulling, but I do think that he would be pretty high on there. But only if you're willing to invest in that Blazing Pursuit card. Without that, he's, you know, kind of mediocre. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope this taught you a little bit about Endeavor. His playstyle is pretty simple as long as you have that card. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I look forward to talking to you next time.